RVing is pretty amazing. It can be great, but it's not all rainbows and butterflies. There's actually a lot of things that RVers hate about or around RV. We just covered the things that they love, the gear and accessories and upgrades, but today I wanted to look at the things that really drive RVers nuts, the things that they hate. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right into the list. So now to start off with this keep it real list, we're going to begin with a grouping that falls underneath the banner of quality manufacturing. You can look on just about any owner's group for any of the manufacturers that are out there, and you can see people complaining about either the quality of the RV that's put together or the components that are put into it. RV furniture. When it's falling apart, it drives RVers nuts with the peeling, the flaking of the upholstery just falling apart everywhere, especially when it's only been like a year or 2 or 3 of having the RV and it's already failing. And there's really not much that you can do about it. You either cover it or replace it. For a lot of people, when they're replacing a couch in an RV, they'll move away from the RV furniture to get a different fabric, different upholstery on there. And they are trying to improve this. This is supposed to last much longer, this new finish, compared to what the old one was. But people hate it when the furniture in the RV is failing for sure. RVers get really frustrated when the AC can't keep up with the summer heat. Quick little tip there, sometimes it's just a bad install or needs to do maintenance on it. The bad install will often be the mixing of the return air and the cold air coming out. If they don't get that right in the install, it's never going to keep up with trying to cool the RV. So we've done a video on that in the past, but definitely something that's frustrating. Frame issues. Frame issues are a big one that RVers hate, obviously, because it's the entire foundation that the RV is built on. You get that wrong, you get a lot of things wrong. This one has settled down a bit in the last year or so. There's actually been some changes. So good news is bringing attention to some of these problems that people are having reoccurring and bringing it to the manufacturers can bring about some change in the long run. On the flip side of that, it really frustrates RVers when companies just deny that there is a problem when there's obviously a problem. And almost every time you can see that it hurts the company more because they deny it and they try and push it off rather than just confronting the problem and making the necessary changes and taking care of the customers that already have the product. So it's always interesting to see how some of these things play out. Slide issues. RVers hate slide issues. Some people even buy RVs without slides just so that they don't have any slide issues. We had to replace the slide mechanism on our larger slide because they put a Schwintek on really a slide that it never had a business of having a Schwintek slide system on it. RVers hate roof problems for a good reason. Water is one of the most destructive things that you can have for the RV. Now, there are some things we can do to try and minimize some of these problems so we don't run into a lot of these pitfalls, and there is always hope that things are going to be getting better. Pointing these things out, bringing light to them does, I think, improve the industry, and you do see some manufacturers really trying to step up and try and make changes in this area. But if there's something we can do as RV owners is to be as familiar with your RV as you possibly can. For me, this is kind of twofold. I want to make sure that I keep up on the maintenance. That's going to keep me familiar with the RV and the status of it, where it's at. What is the condition of the roof? If I'm doing the maintenance, I am going to know that. And I have that trickle down across everything on the RV as much as I can. Number 2, if there's an area that I don't know something about the RV, I want to educate myself as much as I can about the RV. There's lots of great resources out there for this, whether you wanted to go as far as taking the NRVTA RV Owners course or some of the free resources that are out there. I try and give as much free information as I can. I know there's other great channels out there as well. RV Tips and Travels, there's RV Gear and Fire. There's other channels out there that are putting out good information to help you maintain and do the things on your RVs so that it'll last longer. Now, honestly, there's a million different little rabbit trails we could run down talking about quality and manufacturing of the RVs, but I want to get into some of the things about actually RVing. So some of this is going to land under the campground or RV etiquette. And I think one that a lot of people agree with is not cutting through other people's RV site. Now, honestly, it's usually pretty harmless, somebody cutting through your site, maybe a little annoying, but pretty harmless. But there are places that we've stayed at where we really want to make sure that we keep things locked up. We don't leave the bays open, the doors locked, which brings us to today's sponsor, which is Waggle, because we've been using their cameras for a while. They have 4G cell-based cameras. They also have Wi-Fi cameras. So if you don't want to pay a subscription, that you can keep an eye on the RV RV when you're away. You probably know Waggle from the pet monitor side of things, being able to check on the temperature, humidity, location, air quality. They're probably one of the biggest names in that space, but they have a whole line of cameras as well. So even if you wanted to put the camera near the window so you could see inside the RV to keep an eye on your pet, or look outside the RV to make sure what's happening on the outside of the RV, you have that control. So the Wi-Fi cameras we have, they're powered by USB. The 4G camera has a battery that lasts a really long time. I think we were going for like almost 2 months on just one battery charge. So if the power goes out and you're using that camera, you're not going to be worried about losing connectivity and not being able to see what's going on. So if you're looking for a solution to be able to keep an eye on your RV when you're not at the RV, or keep an eye on your pet when you're away from the RV, I'm going to have links down in the description and in that first comment with a discount code so you can check out their cameras. The next thing that annoys a lot of RVers out there is noise. And this kind of goes on both ends of the spectrum. Some people don't like the noise at night when they're trying to go to bed, and some people don't like the noise in the morning when people are packing up and heading out. So depending on which end of that spectrum, you might be annoyed by noise. The common things are usually impact drivers, blowers, doors getting slammed open and shut, diesel engines idling for long periods of time. Those are the kind of things that annoy neighbors when you're packing up in the morning. Now, one that's been plaguing the RV industry for far too long is the service side of the RV industry. You want to see people get frustrated, they'll get frustrated about trying to get their RV in for service in a timely manner and get it back. And the communication through it all can be extremely difficult. So whether you got to get it in for repair or you're going in for warranty work, it can oftentimes tie up your RV for a really long time, and it's hard to get answers and timetables to be able to get your RV back. I'm not saying that every service center is that way. There are some good ones that are out there, and it's great when you can find a good one. But if you look at the forums, you look at what people are complaining about, it's a very common problem to have across a lot of the RVing industry. A good solution here is mobile techs that can come to you, so you're not going to have it tied up at a facility for a long time. Or again, taking it into your own hands. If you have warranty work, sometimes you can get parts sent to you and you can do the work yourself. So that way you don't even have to wait on anybody to get the job done. Now, here's a highly debated one. Lights on or off on the outside of the RV. Obviously, if you're out here using the outdoor space, everybody understands having lights on the outside of the RV. The question is, when you head inside, you go to bed, do you turn the lights on or off on the outside of the RV? For some people, that really bugs them, especially the bright lights on the front of the RVs shining into other RVs. I see those complaints all the time. So which way do you go? Do you like to have the lights on your RV on the outside, or do you turn them off when you go to bed? For us, we turn the outside lights off when we go to bed. If we want to see outside, we'll flip a light on. If we needed to, if we're heading outside, we'll turn the light on. But other than that, if we're not outside enjoying the front of the RV, we just leave them off. Now, the next one actually has almost like a time limit of when you complain about it and when you stop complaining about it, and it's the tank sensors on your RV. When you first get an RV, you expect the tank sensors to work all the time, and then the more you RV, the more you learn your system. You don't even rely on those tank sensors that aren't always accurate all the time anyways. They can get fouled up, they can give you misreadings, and so you just kind of stop relying on them, and people that have RV'd for a decent amount of time just kind of gave up on those anyways. So it's not even something you complain about, you just kind of stop expecting it. Now, this next one is one that we actually just did a video on to try and fix this problem, but people will often complain about the sound of the pump in the RV. The freshwater pump, when it's kicking on, kicking off, sometimes the way that it can vibrate in there and have that vibration get to the frame of the RV can really be pretty annoying. But that water pump is kind of like almost everything on this list. The majority of things do have a pretty simple fix or a solution to be able to overcome, to be able to get to the side of RVing that is really enjoyable. Because that's why we're all here. We really enjoy RVing, getting out there and enjoying the time. So I think that's going to do it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope that maybe some of these solutions to these things that kind of bother RVers helped you out in some way. So as always, if we don't see you on the road, hopefully we'll see you next video. Take care.